Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Procrastinator's Pit Stop on Words That Liberate with Laura. We have a very exciting show for you here today. So, what if the way you feel about a challenging person or situation isn't about them, but about the conclusion you've drawn about them? Would you be willing to wield your power and draw a new one? This question is at the heart of something so simple, yet so transformative: the power of our conclusions. Typically, we assume our feelings are a direct result of what someone else has done or how a situation has unfolded. But in reality, those feelings are deeply tied to the meaning we've assigned, or better, the conclusion we drew about the person or the situation. Today, learn how the simple act of drawing a new conclusion can instantly improve how you feel, how you act, and how you connect with others. And Laura, please take it away.
All right. So first of all, my question for you, Chris, is, as always, is do you relate with this? Do you resonate at all with having some conclusions that, you're aware I have, and that conclusion I know does not serve me, support me, or benefit my peace of mind, my well-being, or the experience that I have in this situation or with that person?
Of course, and I'm sure that everybody's got at least one. I might have more than one. but yeah, I can definitely think of at least one.
Well, yeah. And truth be told, the brain is programmed to do this and for many reasons. So really, we're drawing conclusions constantly. Like simply, it's the holiday season right now. So you drive to the store to just grab a tub of yogurt or sour cream. You see a ton of cars, and then you will draw an instant conclusion. Oh, it's going to be a madhouse in there. It's going to take too long. I'm not going to do it. That's a conclusion. And that will inform your action or behavior. Nope, I'm not going to do it. Or park the car and go in with this full expectation it's going to be annoying, it's going to take too long. And right there, we're doing it all of the time, really unbeknownst to ourselves. We're doing it all of the time.
Sort of like expecting the worst, even though we're supposed to be planning for the best.
Well, not always. It doesn't have to be a negative conclusion when we draw a conclusion. Sometimes we are drawing conclusions that the conclusion we draw is going to have an effect on how we feel. So that could be the grocery store example I gave you, or exactly the same grocery store example. I need a tub of something. It's holiday season. I go, I see it's loaded, and I draw a conclusion. Well, okay, maybe this is going to take longer, and I may as well just kind of take my time, find a few other things I need. Maybe I do need more. Or, another person could think, gosh, I may run into a ton of my neighbors here because, it looks like the whole town is here. So, oh, cool. Maybe I'll get to say happy holidays to some people or any conclusion. And actually, as we'll find out later, in our conversation, this is the whole point. You get to decide and choose the conclusion you make. And what conclusion you draw does matter.
Okay. All right. I'll bite.
Okay.
Let's get into it.
All right, great. So let me, I want to share an example to fully give the story of this, which I think you will relate to and many of the listeners will relate to. And it's why conclusion is one of the words on my list of why help people with this. So what I have seen over 30 years of coaching, and certainly in my own personal experience, that drawing a conclusion is no simple little thing. So this goes back to my college years. Brand new freshman, and the first day, your parents drop you off, you get all your stuff put into your room. And later that day, there is a scheduled meeting on the dorm room, the dorm floor to meet all the other residents. And so I'm using my own experience, so had the little icebreaker situation. And as you're sitting there, as I was sitting there, many people have been in this situation, whether it's a new job, a classroom, or a dorm hall. And, each person's introducing themselves and we play this icebreaker. And right away, I am drawing conclusions. Oh, that person seems like somebody I get along with. Oh, that person I wouldn't have anything in common. That person seems weird. That person seems really amazing, and on and on and on. Do you relate even with your mental activity doing such things?
Yeah, of course. It's something I actively try and not do, but it's just something that we just do automatically a lot of.
Yeah, and the short thing I want to advocate what the brain and the mind are doing is it is a form of controlling your environment, which I'm not saying that in a negative way. We need to, as human beings in our base brain, it's all about survival. So what's going to be best for me, for my survival, my emotional well-being, my physical well-being? So that's what's happening is we're assessing a situation and determining what is going to be good or right for me and what might be a risk or a threat to me. That's what the brain's constantly doing. So it's constantly assessing and drawing these conclusions. Okay. So back to the dorm room floor, I see somebody and I think, yeah, that one seems kind of weird, seems not like me. We won't be friends. Which actually I did have. That happened with a particular person I remember today. And I thought that. And so then time went on, the next day came, that whole week played out, the next week played out, time went on, I'm adjusted to the dorm. And at some point along the way, because I kept seeing this person, she lives on my floor. I see her in the mess hall, whatever. She's talking to some of the other people on the floor that I might be a part of that. And as time went on, there was one episode. It took one instant where her and I somehow were having an exchange, or she said something, she shared something about her life. And it hit me and I'm like, wow. And so quickly, my brain actually did a about face on her and said, I had no idea. And then my brain started to do all this other gymnastics. And on the spot, naturally, I didn't intend to do this. I didn't go in. I was too young. I didn't know this stuff. But naturally, my brain did something different. It drew a new conclusion about this person. So that was back in 1987, fall 1987. Here we are, 2024. And guess what? Of all the people on that dorm room floor that I went to school with and lived with for a year, the one person I'm still in contact and a friend of today is that person.
That's a really amazing story, especially considering that, that's, we all know it's very rare to, hold on to those people. And you managed to actually take that conclusion and change that around and actually maintain the connection with them.
And let me say something about that. That was all without intention. That was all without a deliberate effort. That just happened naturally. And the truth is, it's happened to you many times naturally, and everyone who's listening, many times that has happened. Many times that has happened. And even a song. First time I heard the song, hated it. Now I love it. I have the album. I went to the concert. So it's something that happens naturally. The brain can do it naturally, effortlessly. And I want to bring today to the realization you can do that intentionally and deliberately with something that you struggle with. A person or a situation that you're like, gosh, I really wish it wasn't like this. You can use your power to draw a new conclusion, something your mind has already done many times.
And, just with it being the holiday season and, I guess we're all kind of hoping for Christmas miracles. So we all kind of come to conclusions that, I guess it's both sides, right? Though, Laura, I mean, on the one side, we've got, I'm drawing the conclusion that I'm putting all these people together in one room. Normally they hate each other, but hey, it's Christmas, so they should get along. That's one conclusion that could be drawn. Or the other conclusion that could be drawn is, well, these people all hate each other anyway, and putting them in the same room, probably expecting a real mess.
Right. So what you really, probably both of those conclusions, do both or either or both of those conclusions to you, and I know you're just doing this on the fly, do either of those feel empowering or do they both feel disempowering?
Well, I mean, the one where you're expecting the mess really does feel disempowering. It's like, well, why am I even doing this?
Mm-hmm.
The one where you're saying, okay, well, we're hoping for a Christmas miracle. I mean, it's kind of empowering. Not really, because I'm still underneath, still kind of expecting that other result.
Yeah. I mean, that it sounds familiar. That second one I've done myself. And maybe in some cases it actually did work out better. I went in with a not good expectation and got something better. But the thing that never has felt good about hoping for something or setting a really low expectation is I'm still not really feeling empowered, meaning in power. Because if I would and so I actually have a Christmas story of drawing a new conclusion that to this day still is in effect. And this happened in 2016. I was getting ready for my own family holiday. And my family is not unique. It's like most every other family. And we have these kind of dynamics. Everybody wants to come together. Everybody hopes for wonderful, connection in time or whatever. And everybody comes in with their ego, their personalities, and their hurts, right? Their hurts, their emotional challenges and insecurities and emotional security. So, and every family has this. And so as I was getting ready for a Christmas many years ago, I was feeling struggling to get enthusiastic about it or feel excited about it because I thought I was expecting kind of what it always feels like for me personally. And for me personally, I've struggled with it never really feels really connected. It never really feels very deep and very, I'll say, genuine. That was my private personal story. based on previous conclusions I had made, no doubt. And in that moment, now I'm going to throw in another word that we have talked about before. I decided I'm not going to do that this Christmas. I don't want to live that out again. One, there's the power of deciding. And then what happened after that was I'm going to draw a new conclusion. And the old conclusion I was running on was they don't really care. Nobody really cares to really get to know you, what's going on for you, and really take the time. That was the conclusion. And so that always felt very unfulfilling to me. But then I said, let's change that conclusion, Laura. And I said, what if actually everybody wants the same thing you do? Genuine, authentic connection, really feeling embraced and seen. And the way they do it is just the way they do it. You do it your way, so you are familiar with what that would sound like and look like. And they're very likely wanting that, but they're doing it their way. So this is how fast it took. So I thought that, and I said, okay, so then really, and I imagined different people and them, me talking to them, like the uncle and the aunt and the cousin. And I said, and just believe, Laura, that in their mind, they are thinking, I really want to know how she's doing. And so then I shortened that and said, they really are showing me love. So I shortened it to that. So I drew the conclusion right there. And then this all took about 3 minutes. And I said, okay, so they actually all are there with love in their heart. And however they're doing what they're doing, there is love backing that. Finished curling my hair and doing my makeup, got dressed, got to the party an hour and a half later. And that was one of the better experiences I had at a Christmas event with family. And to this day, that is the conclusion I have. It is set. And once you make a conclusion, it stays until you change it. So that's the thing. It won't go back. It changes, it stays. And so that has been the resident conclusion about family gatherings. They really love you and they're going to show it their way, which is a way more empowered conclusion and experience for me and a position for me than thinking they're not interested based on the conclusion I'd had before.
That is a very powerful, can I say conclusion?
Yeah.
That you came to?
That's the point.
Because, so often, I mean, even just even if we just go into the 5 love languages, right? I mean, there's, physical versus, was it words of affirmation, getting or receiving gifts, and then there was quality time, and then, oh man, I think I missed the 5th one.
I think touch is one.
Acts of service.
An act of service. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's totally possible that you go into that situation and you see somebody who's, just drawing on my own experience, somebody who's going around like a chicken with their head cut off, they're doing everything. Maybe they're cleaning up, maybe they're making dinner. Always seems like they never have time to talk to anybody. Maybe it seems like they don't want to talk to anybody. They're always short and curt and stuff. But, it's because their way of showing love is through acts of service. And maybe they're not doing it in an exactly healthy way because you're supposed to take time and breathe every now and again. But I mean, that's the way that they would show that. I mean, just having that sort of realization could, really help change those holiday get-togethers too.
That is a beautiful example. You just described my mother, my beautiful, wonderful mother, who that's exactly what she did. Not even just on the holidays, but every day of her life. And I didn't always know that. Certainly not before I became a mother. I didn't. I became more understanding of that once I became a mother. And so, yes, my conclusion about my mom's presence or her care or her interest changed, along the way. But that's great because somebody right now can do that. What you just said, consider that what they are doing is their natural way or their best attempt at showing up, loving, interested, invested, authentic.
No, I like that. I like that. I like that a lot. Well, we are coming up to the end of the time. These feel way too short. I know that a lot of our listeners agree that they feel too short. But, not to worry. We know we are back every single week. Is there anything that you think that we missed today, Laura, that we want to kind of give before we sign off?
I don't think there's anything, but I would really encourage people to practice this with anything and everything. Even if it's like, why don't I work out when I say I'm going to work out? Well, what's the conclusion you've drawn about working out? It's painful. Draw a new conclusion. Well, it can be fun. It is fun or whatever. It's easy or, whatever, but you can play with it with anything.
Oh, I like that. And once again, this has been a really great episode. Thanks for coming in, Laura. And to all our listeners, again, if you can't find that motivation or inspiration for yourself today, just go out and try and be that inspiration or motivation for someone else. And we'll see you again with Laura again next week.